of roller derby today. Yes. I will be announcing this game for you. I'm Sparkles, and I'm going to call the roster. Starting with the Eindhoven Rockcity Rollers, we have number 11, May Rampage. Number 12, Supercut. Number 17, Tank. Number 23, Whomping Willow. Number 333, Scream Queen. Number 40, Ruby Ricochet. Number 42, Tenacious T. Number 5307, Lefty Lucy. Number 6, Maya the Beast. Number 7, Lotta Havoc. Number 73, Mitroline. Number 74, Rosie Galore. Number 80, DD Dominator. And number 99, Ricky Frankie. For the bench, we have Happy Shaker, Maxime, and Spoiler Alert. Now for the home team. For the home team, we have the Rotterdam Honeybees, a mix of their A and B players. We have number 11, Iron Mist. 32, Looslicht. Number 45, Wasabi. 47, Cherry Bomb. Number 88, Hermione Revenger. Number 183, Van Minkelen. 404, Runtime Terror. 713, Gillyweed. 1313, Rebecca von Gorgon. Number 03, Foxy Dizer. 53, Fear Pressure. And number 2, Hazy Jane. And just like that, it's already time for the first jam. We have 88, Hermione Revenger on the jammer line for Rotterdam. And number 42, Tenacious T for Eindhoven. And the jam is on. We can see Hermione at the front, being pushed out by Rosie Galore and Recycled. Tenacious T fighting at the front against a wall of 3. And that's Hermione Revenger on the inside getting lead jammer. Tenacious T still in the pack. Well, Hermione comes in for her first scoring pass, does a jump, and calls it off. Let's see if any points were scored. That is 3 points for Rotterdam. Rotterdam drawing first blood. And we're moving on to the next jam. We have Fear Pressure jamming for Rotterdam. And actually a power start, because Tenacious T is in the penalty box right now. And Fear Pressure making it out for lead. Rotterdam is setting up to assist. And now coming in for a first scoring pass. Makes it through and picks up 4 points. All right, coming in for the second scoring pass now and making it through. Everybody back on track, empty penalty box. Tenacious T now coming in for her initial pass, while Fear Pressure is in their third scoring pass, getting some offense from Cherry Bomb. But the Eindhoven defense is holding on. Fear Pressure escaping on the inside, picking up 4 more points. And Tenacious T with the star in hand, gets hit out by Fly Salmonelli. Fair pressure back in the pack. The Rotterdam defense really not letting any space for Tenacious T. And there has been a star pass to May Rampage. Vesper coming back in for more. And calls off the jam with 4 more points. So that was a 20-point jam for Rotterdam, bringing them to 23 points. Eindhoven on 0. Let's see what the next jam brings. We have number 2-3, Whomping Willow for Eindhoven and Foxy Dizer for Rotterdam. Running on that inside line, picking up lead is Foxy Dizer. Whomping Willow also out of the pack. And Foxy Dicer is coming in, trying to score some points. And calls off the jam. That is 3 points picked up by Rotterdam. Bringing them to 26 points. For our next jam, we have Lefty Lucy jamming for Eindhoven and Rebecca van Gorgen for Rotterdam. The Eindhoven blockers are in the back on the jammer line, immediately swallowing up the space for Rebecca. At the front, we have Lefty Lucy getting recycled by Bremer. Both jammers have stuck in the pack, trying to break free for their initial pass. We have Lefty Lucy at the front, fighting a wall of Fly Salmonelli and Bremer. And a cut call on Rebecca van Gorgen. So this is now a power jam. Lead picked up by Lefty Lucy. Eindhoven blockers setting up to do some offense for their jammer. And the jammer making it through, picking up 4 points, the first 4 points for Eindhoven right now. And she's coming back for more. Rotterdam trying to keep the front. Now both jammers back on track. And Rebecca van Gorgen tiptoes on the inside. Beautiful move and gets out. The jam gets called before Rebecca can score any points. And 4 more points picked up by Eindhoven. So still 26 points for Rotterdam and now 8 points for Eindhoven. We are going back to our first formation, Hermione Revenger versus Tenacious T. And the jam is off. Tenacious T in the back against a tripod of blockers, and Hermione Revenger makes it out for lead. Now coming in for their first scoring pass. And makes it out. Scoring 4 points for Rotterdam. Meanwhile, Tenacious T breaks out of the pack, star in hand. Now Star on the cover is on, trying to score some points. Hermione calls it off. 0 points for Eindhoven and 4 points for Rotterdam. So 8 in total on that jam. And now we have Whomping Willow against Fear Pressure on the jammer line. Full complement of blockers on the track right now. Everybody is lining up on that jammer line. And the jam is on. On the outside, quickly running for lead is Fear Pressure. But Whomping Willow not far behind. Also trying to see if she can score some points. The pack is speeding up right now. Peer Pressure quickly hitting the pack and calling it off for 1 point. 2 points actually. Keeping Eindhoven scoreless for this jam. And right now we have Foxy Dizer on the jammer line for Rotterdam and Lefty Lucy for Eindhoven. Again, we are starting with all the blockers on track. And they're off. We have both jammers into the pack, but it's Foxy Dizer who breaks free on the inside and picks up lead. Meanwhile, Eindhoven Lefty Lucy is being recycled by Iron Mist. And Foxy Dizer is in the pack for scoring. Makes it out and picks up 4 points. We can see the jammer for Eindhoven has taken off the cover. Still the jammer. And Foxy Dizer breaks free for 4 more points. Rotterdam blocker heading for the penalty box. And it seems there has been a star pass. And that makes a little bit of confusion on track if there is a penalty or not, but free to continue playing. And Eindhoven gets out a star pass to Ruby Ricochet. And we can see a penalty being called. It's on the Rotterdam jammer, so this is now a power jam for Eindhoven. Rotterdam's not just quickly gonna give away those points though. Quickly reforming. Trying to keep Ruby Ricochet at bay. Big drawback there by Van Minkelen. Beautiful push out and recycle by Gillyweed. The jammer back on track now. "12 points scored for Rotterdam in that jam and 4 points scored by Eindhoven. The score is now 48 points for Rotterdam and 12 points for Eindhoven. For the next jam, we have Tenacious T for Eindhoven and Rebecca van Gorgen for Rotterdam. Tenacious T at the front, but gets hit out and recycled by Hazy Jane. Rebecca's trying to get through the inside, but gets hit out by Tank. Lead jammer status for Tenacious T. And she's gonna come in for scoring. Rebecca van Gorgen still stuck in the back now with helmet cover in hand. And it seems there has been a star pass to number 5, Bremer. Tenacious T in scoring position, trying to fight that tripod at the top. Calls it off. And picked up 4 points. Rotterdam stealing 1 point, however. Next up, we have Hermione Revenger jamming for Rotterdam and Whomping Willow jamming for Eindhoven. 4-3 pack advantage for Rotterdam right now. And Hermione Revenger makes quick work of that pack and picks up lead jammer status. Whomping Willow fighting at the front of the pack. And Hermione's gonna come in to score. Whomping Willow now out of the pack, completing her initial. And Hermione calls it off before Eindhoven can score any points. 4 points picked up by Rotterdam in that jam. Score is now 54 points for Rotterdam and 16 points for Eindhoven. Setting up for the next jam, it is now a 4-3 pack advantage for Eindhoven. We have Lefty Lucy jamming against Fear Pressure. Lefty Lucy at the front, but gets hit out and recycled by Bremer. And Fear Pressure picks up lead jammer status. Now coming in for a scoring pass. Lefty Lucy still stuck in the pack behind that Rotterdam tripod. The defense really not letting on. Fear Pressure picking up 4 points for Rotterdam. And Lefty Lucy makes it out, helmet cover in hand, now puts it on. Gonna try to score some points. Fear Pressure wrapping their hips around the blockers and picking up all 4 points. Eindhoven kept scoreless in that jam. For the next jam, we have Foxy Dicer on the jammer line for Rotterdam and Tenacious T for Eindhoven. It's a 4-3 pack advantage for Rotterdam right now, and they're switching at the very last second their position for the jam start. Foxy Dicer pushing at the front, Tenacious T pushing at the back, getting an assist. Both jammers stuck in this defense. And a hit out and recycle there by Eindhoven, giving Tenacious T the time to pick up leads, now coming in for a scoring pass. Foxy Dicer also makes it out of the pack, still on their initial. Tenacious T in the pack, trying to pick up as many points as possible. However, that Rotterdam defense is really slowing it down. Beautiful call off there by Tenacious T. And she managed to pick up the 4 points in that pass. So the score is now 65 for Rotterdam and 20 points for Eindhoven. This might seem like a big score differential, but in Derby anything can happen. We have Whomping Willow against Rebecca von Gorgon on the jammer line. Blockers lined up at the pivot line. So both jammers were able to make a little bit of speed before entering the pack. However, these tripods are just holding it down for both jammers. They're both trying to go lateral, to push, but the defense really strong. Rebecca at the back and Whomping Willow at the front, trying to push the blockers out of play, but gets hit out and recycled by Cherry Bomb. This jam really shows off the defense of the blockers, really holding it down. Still no lead, but and the jam gets called off. Luckily, everybody is standing again. And it seems there was a penalty for the Eindhoven jammer. So we're going to start off with a power start for Hermione Revenger. All blockers on track right now, but that's... Hermione Revenger tried to sneak up on the inside, but got hit out and recycled. Now fighting at the back. getting assist from her teammates and makes it out for lead jammer. Now coming in for a scoring pass. Both walls are set up. Everybody back on track. We can hear the no pack signal from the referees. That means that the players need to get back in a pack as soon as possible if they want to keep blocking. Hermione making use of that, picking up 4 points and coming back for more. Quickly on the outsides. Whomping Willow at the back with Star in hand, trying to get through. And it seems we have a penalty on Hermione, so this is now a power jam for Eindhoven. Star pass completed to Ruby Ricochet. Now coming in for their first scoring pass. The Eindhoven blockers trying to do some offense for their teammates. However, the Rotterdam wall really strong, not giving up. Oh, beautiful. Hermione Revenger coming out of the box and making use of that confusion to hop on the inside and pick up 4 more points. Quickly before the end of the jam, Hermione Revenger picks up 4 more points. That was a 12-point jam for Rotterdam. 0 for Eindhoven. Score is now 77 for Rotterdam and 20 for Eindhoven. And there is a timeout. All right, let's take this time to cheer on our teams. Who here is cheering for the Rockcity Rollers? Eindhoven, give it up. And who here is cheering for the Honeybees from Rotterdam? Beautiful. And who here is cheering for the officials? Yes, without officials, this game wouldn't have been possible, so give them some love. And just like that, we're back in the game again. We have Veer Pressure jamming for Rotterdam against Lefty Lucy for Eindhoven. A 4-3 pack advantage for Eindhoven right now. Let's see if they can capitalize on that. And a quick switch in setup right before that whistle goes for Rotterdam. But it doesn't bother Lefty Lucy, who picks up lead jammer status. Veer Pressure now also out of the pack, giving chase. Let's see if Lefty Lucy can pick up some points. She hits the pack and calls it off. No points scored, however, in that jam, so 0-0. Next up, we have Foxy Dicer versus Tenacious T. Pack advantage for Rotterdam right now. 1 Eindhoven player in the box. Both jammers having speed. They exit the pack roughly the same time. But it was Foxy Dicer who had the lead jammer status and calls it off before any points can be stored. For this next jam, we have a 4-2 pack advantage for Rotterdam right now. Whomping Willow jamming for Eindhoven and Hermione Revenger for Rotterdam. Some bodies hitting the floor, and just like that, Whomping Willow picks up lead jammer and gets out of the pack. Hermione Revenger tries to jump the inside but gets bumped out and recycled by Rosie Galore. Oh, that's DD Dominator, actually. Both jammers in the pack. Hermione making it out. Her initial pass. Whomping Willow in scoring position, trying to pick up as many points as possible, but gets bumped out by Fly Samanelli and calls off the jam. 4 points picked up by Eindhoven in that jam, which brings them to 24 points. Rotterdam still on 77 points. And we have 8 minutes left to go in this period. And those whistles were for an official timeout. So you're going to wait a little bit. Also, if you have some time in halftime to buy some merch, there is really nice merch here. So get yourself over to that table at the beginning of the hall and buy all the merch. You're supporting your lovely roller derby people with that. Taking a look at the penalty board, everybody's still doing okay. No more than 2 penalties for players, so it's all looking good. It's looking clean. That's how we like it. All right. And we're back to the game. We have Fear Pressure against Lefty Lucy. Eindhoven has 1 blocker in the box. And the jam is on. Beautiful opening on the inside, but the Eindhoven blockers reforming quickly for Fear Pressure, who pushes through and picks up lead jammer status. Lefty Lucy fighting at the front of the pack. Gets bumped out and recycled by Iron Mist. And Fear Pressure in the first scoring pass, picking up 4 points. Lefty Lucy fighting. And it looks like there has been a star pass to number 333, Scream Queen. Fear Pressure picking up another 4 points. And now the pivot turn jammer trying to break free from that initial pass. Fear Pressure pushing at the front. Eindhoven tried to bridge, but had to let them go. 4 more points on the board for Rotterdam. And a really quick pass on the inside for Fear Pressure. And that's the end of this jam. So 16 points scored in that jam for Rotterdam. Huge jam for Rotterdam. And it looks like there is a power start for Rotterdam. Foxy Dicer taking this one, pushes through and picks up lead jammer. Both blocker lines are setting up In anticipation for the jammer, pack is speeding up. Foxy Dicer at the front pushes through, picks up 4 points. We have Scream Queen back on the field for Eindhoven and pushes through. Wasabi tries to chase but has to let her go. Foxy Dicer in the pack trying to pick up some more points. And that's the end of the jam. 3 more points picked up by Rotterdam. Score is now 100 points for Rotterdam and 24 points for Eindhoven. Hermione Revenger on the jammer line for Rotterdam versus Whomping Willow. We had some blockers trying to make it to the track on time. Hermione Revenger making use of that confusion and gets out for lead. However, Whomping Willow also breaks free. And Hermione Revenger scores all 4 points and decides to call it off before Eindhoven can score any points. Next up, we have Lefty Lucy versus Fear Pressure on the jammer line. And Fear Pressure picks up lead. However, seems like we have a power jam. Lefty Lucy has to sit down in the box. And Fear Pressure makes quick work of that, picks up 4 points, and looks eager for more. Eindhoven, of course, also missing 2 blockers who are in the penalty box right now, making it easier for Fear Pressure to pick up the points. Now coming in for another scoring pass. Around the outside, 4 more points picked up for Rotterdam. Lefty Lucy back in the pack, but still has to fight this Rotterdam wall. A bump out, but not enough to stop Fear Pressure. Picks up the points, calls it off before Lefty Lucy can score any. And that was a 16-point jam for Rotterdam. Really big jam. And we have an official review for the white team. And in a moment, I will find out for you what this official review is all about. All right, I've gathered some more information about this official review. Rotterdam requested this review and they are trying to get an illegal re-entry on the Purple Jammer. So we'll see how that goes. Still 2 minutes to go in this first half. Having a quick look at the penalties. Nobody's. We have 4 being the most amount of penalties. That is still okay. Players are trying to keep it clean. And it looks like the official review has not been retained. We have both jammers out on the track for their respective teams. We have Foxy Dicer skating for Rotterdam and Tenacious T for Eindhoven. This means that Rotterdam loses their official review for the half. Both teams have a blocker in the box, so it's 3-on-3. Let's see how this turns out. We have a push out and a recycle by Rosie Galore for Eindhoven. Tenacious T pushing in the front. You can hear the no pack call, and just like that, Tenacious T gets out and picks up lead. Foxy Dicer again being recycled by Rosie Galore. Tenacious T quickly through the pack, picking up 4 points for Eindhoven. And getting back for some more points. And a star pass to Runtime Terror. Tenacious T fighting that last blocker at the front, Flysa Manelli, but gets hit out. And decides to call off the jam before Rotterdam can score any points. 4 more points picked up by Eindhoven. So a total of 8 points scored by Eindhoven in that jam. Much needed points, so that's good. We have Whomping Willow against Hermione Revenger. Let's see how it turns out. 1 blocker in the box for Rotterdam. Both jammers hit the pack, but it is Hermione Revenger who gets out first. Whomping Willow's fighting at the front, also making it out. However, Hermione Revenger already in scoring position, pushing her own blockers to get where she wants to be. Quickly scoring 4 points and calling it off. And now we have Lefty Lucy facing off against Fear Pressure. We start off with an empty penalty box, so 4-4 for the blockers on track. You can see they started at the pivot line, but then dropped back right before that first whistle. Fear Pressure at the front, gets out and picks up lead. Lefty Lucy still fighting at the front against a tripod of Looslicht, Hazy Jane and Van Minkelen. No easy job. Fear Pressure breaks free on the inside, picks up 4 points. Now coming back for more. Hitting the wall right in the middle and going through for 4 more points. Lefty Lucy still fighting that defense of Rotterdam, now breaking free around the outside. Fear Pressure deciding to wrap their hips around the blockers, picking up 4 more points and then calling it off. And just like that, it's halftime already. So be sure to go to the merch, buy some merch, get something to eat, something to drink, and then we'll be right back in 15 minutes. a little bit more love for the second half. Give it up for the Rockcity Rollers. And of course, give it up for the home team, the Honey Bees from Rotterdam. We are back on track and we have Foxy Dicer versus Tenacious T for this first jam in the second period. And we're on. See a beautiful setup at the beginning, but it's Tenacious T who breaks free and picks up lead jammer status. Foxy now also makes it out of the pack. Tenacious T is in scoring position. And a jam is being called, but there were some points picked up. That is 2 points for Eindhoven. A good start for the Rockcity Rollers, who need this momentum to close up the gap in score. We have Whomping Willow on the track for Eindhoven and Cherry Bomb jamming for the first time this game for Rotterdam. And Whomping Willow at the front, Cherry Bomb at the back. Defense very tight. Eindhoven wall really controlled, but a few tumbles. Giving Cherry Bomb the space to break free and pick up lead jammer status. Whomping Willow still fighting the last blockers, gets hit out and recycled. Cherry Bomb in the pack trying to score some points. All the blockers are on the track right now, so it's really hard time for the jammers to get through. On the outside, cutting to the inside, Whomping Willow completing her initial pass. Cherry Bomb in the pack, scores the 4 points and calls it off, bringing the score to 140 points for Rotterdam and 34 for Eindhoven. Next up, we have Lefty Lucy jamming against Rebecca von Gorgon. It's an empty penalty box, so we start with 4-4 for the blocker formations. And the jam is on. Got Lefty Lucy fighting in the middle, getting on that inside, picking up the lead, but Rebecca von Gorgon really not far behind. So it's a race. Lefty Lucy deciding she's not gonna play that game, calls it off 0-0 for both jammers. Next up on the jammer line, we have Hermione Revenger for Rotterdam against Tenacious T for Rockcity. We have all the blockers on track. And Hermione Revenger picks up lead so quickly. And it seems like we have a penalty on the Rockcity jammer. So this is now a power jam for Rotterdam. Hermione Revenger tried to go through the inside but got hit out and recycled. Now trying again to pick up some points, but the Rockcity Rollers are not going to make it easy for her. Another beautiful hit out. Now some offense being played by the Rotterdam blockers, which is just enough to get Hermione Revenger out for 4 points. Tenacious T back in the pack. Still having to go past 2 blockers and does so, completing her initial. Big bump out, and Hermione Revenger decides to call that jam off from the floor. Does quickly get up and had scored 4 more points. So that was 8 points total in that jam for Rotterdam. Now for this next jam, we have Whomping Willow against Foxy Dicer. All the blockers are on track right now, and they're all piled up on the jammer line. So let's see what happens. That Whomping Willow really going lateral, trying to break apart that wall, but it's Foxy Dicer who picks up the lead. Whomping Willow gets hit out, quickly back in, and Foxy Dicer is on her first scoring pass. Now getting assistance from Gillyweed, doing some offense, which was enough to break Foxy Dicer free for 4 points. Whomping Willow still stuck in that pack now, 2-2 beat, but it's Iron Mist and Gillyweed. Foxy Dicer trying to pick up some more points. Had to fight against Rosie Galore and makes it out. 4 more points. Whomping Willow with star in hand now. Only has 1 to beat. That's Looslicht at the front, defending for Rotterdam. Doing a wonderful job. However, picks up a penalty for that effort, and Whomping Willow is free. Foxy Dicer picking up 4 more points and decides to call off the jam. And a new jammer alert for Rotterdam. We have Van Minkelen on the jam line against Lefty Lucy from Eindhoven. A 3-2 pack advantage for Rotterdam right now. Both teams having players in the box. Let's see how this turns out. Minkelen running up on the inside, picking up lead jammer status. Lefty Lucy with 1 to beat, also making it out. Now Van Minkelen in scoring position. Decides to keep the jam running. So both jammers in scoring position right now. Van Minkelen picks up 4. And a penalty called on the Eindhoven jammer. So this is now a power jam in favor for Rotterdam. Let's see what Van Minkelen can do with full blocker contingent for Rockcity on track, but it's not enough to stop Van Minkelen, who picks up 4 more points. We can see the Rotterdam wall setting up for some offense. Clearing out that outside, making it easier for Van Minkelen to get past and pick up 4 more points. Both jammers now back on track. You see that beautiful offense from Freaky Frankie. But it was not enough to free Lefty Lucy, who is now going to try to pass again. Rotterdam really good with getting in front again. Even if the jammer passes, they quickly recover and get back to the front and catch the jammer again. However, Lefty Lucy making it out, picking up 4 points. And the jam gets called off. 3 more points picked up by Rotterdam. So that was a 15-point jam for Rotterdam and a 4-point jam for Eindhoven. Two Rotterdam blockers in the box right now, so a 4-2 pack advantage for Eindhoven. We have Tenacious T against Rebecca van Gorgen. Tenacious T pushing at the front, twirling around. Rebecca pushing at the back. Both walls not ready to give up. Tenacious T on that outside, stays in bounds and picks up lead jammer status. Rebecca still in the pack, trying to tiptoe on the outside but gets shut down. And just like that, we have a penalty called on the Rotterdam jammer. So this is now a power jam for Eindhoven. And Tenacious T makes quick work of that, picking up 4 points, and is now going to come back for some more. You can see the Rockcity blockers setting up for some offense. Both teams rolling forwards, now coming to a standstill. Tenacious T doing a wonderful job staying in bounds. And we have both jammers back on track, and it gets called off. 2 points picked up by Eindhoven. And we're gonna move on to the next jam. Whomping Willow jamming for Rockcity Rollers, and Hermione Revenger jamming for the Honeybees. 4-3 pack advantage for Rotterdam right now. Really tight pack right now. Everybody's in a scrum. But it is Hermione who makes it out first and picks up lead jammer status. Now gonna come in for a scoring pass. Whomping Willow still at the back of the pack, fighting to make it through her initial pass. Hermione gets hit out and recycled by Freaky Frankie. Whomping Willow with 1 to beat at the front, and does so, completing her initial. And another beautiful drawback by Eindhoven, forcing Hermione to call it off before Whomping Willow can score any points. 3 points picked up by Rotterdam in that jam. It was already looking a little bit empty on track. We could tell that maybe Eindhoven was setting up for a timeout. Currently, the score is 175 points for Rotterdam and 44 points for Eindhoven. We have 18 minutes left in the second half. And then the derby for today will just be over. And just like that, the timeout has come to an end. Rockcity Rollers are also getting to the track. And we have a new jammer alert for Rotterdam. Number 11, Iron Mist, taking the star. Versus Lefty Lucy for the Rockcity Rollers. Let's see what she can do. All right, both jammers hitting that pack. Ooh, almost making it out on the inside. Iron Mist, but getting drawn back and recycled. It is Lefty Lucy who picks up the lead. Iron Mist in the pack with star in hand. Dropping blockers. Does pick up a penalty for that effort. So it is now a power jam for the Rockcity Rollers. Lefty Lucy fighting hard on that inside. Beautiful spin move and makes it out for 4 points. Now coming back for another scoring pass. Both walls were speeding up for a little bit, but now coming to a standstill. And we have two jammers on the track again. And Iron Mist very sneakily on that outside makes it through her initial pass. Lefty Lucy still fighting for points. And decides to call it off before Iron Mist can score any points. 3 points picked up by Eindhoven in that final pass. And for the next jam, we have Tenacious T jamming against Foxy Dicer. A 4-3 pack advantage for Rotterdam right now on the track. And the jam is on. Foxy Dicer picking up lead very quickly. Tenacious T still in the pack, jammer cover in hand. And now Foxy Dicer is going for her first scoring pass on the outside, but gets denied. Now on the inside, beautiful hit there by May Rampage. And Tenacious T with a scream makes it out of the pack. And it looks like no jammer can call it right now. So Tenacious T makes use of that confusion. More people were thinking that Foxy Dicer was going to call off the jam, but she couldn't. So now Tenacious T really just sneaking on that inside. And the jam gets called off. Foxy a little slow to get back up. That's why that jam got called, but everybody's okay. We have a 4-3 pack advantage for Rotterdam right now. One Rockcity roller blocker in the box. We have Whomping Willow facing off against Rebecca von Gorgon, and the jam is on. Whomping Willow with a lot of force, really strong jammer, but it is Rebecca von Gorgon who gets lead for Rotterdam. Now gonna come in for a scoring pass. Whomping Willow at the front, still fighting to get out. But hit out and drawn back by Runtime Terror. Rebecca now also stuck at that tripod from Rockcity. Really solid blocking there. Both jammers just not having a lot of forward momentum, but now Rebecca really pushing at the front, trying to go through the outside. We have DD Dominator at the front, just not gonna let Rebecca go. And it is now a power jam. Rebecca von Gorgon had to go through the box. However, a little confusion. Whomping Willow still in the game, no penalty picked up there. But did make an illegal re-entry and now has to sit in a penalty box. So it's a jammer swap. Rebecca's gonna come back out of that box. A lot of penalties right now being called by the referees. Rebecca still has to pass Rosie Galore. And does so, making it out for 4 points. All right, and that jam comes to an end. Only 4 points picked up in that jam by Rotterdam. And Rotterdam will now start with a power start and a 4-2 pack advantage. But not before they're gonna call a timeout to reset and get ready. A little bit more penalties are starting to rack up now for these teams. We have one player from Eindhoven on 6. Rotterdam, a little less penalty heavy right now. Most penalties a player has got is 3. Penalties do make a huge difference when you're playing games. Of course, you need everybody on track. But even with less players, the show must go on. All right, timeout's over. For this power start, it is Cherry Bomb, number 47, taking the star for Rotterdam. We see a very interesting setup from Rotterdam right now, also on the track. Like a blocker in each corner. The 4 corners. Very interesting. Let's see. Now they're changing it up. Doing some offense, and it worked out perfectly. Cherry Bomb picking up lead very quickly. But now Whomping Willow back on track. Designated jammer for Eindhoven. Star in hand, but she does not need to pass it. Wasabi last line of defense, but Whomping Willow makes it out. Meanwhile, Cherry Bomb in scoring position. Scores 4 points and calls off the jam before Eindhoven could score any points. And for this jam, we have on the jammer line for Rotterdam someone who this game hasn't jammed before. 7-1-3 Gillyweed against Lefty Lucy from Eindhoven. And on the outside, it is Gillyweed picking up lead for Rotterdam, for the Honeybees. And Lefty Lucy still in that pack, but fighting very hard. Now Gillyweed entering the pack, trying to score some points, but this Eindhoven tripod really holding it down. Meanwhile, Lefty Lucy breaks free, completing her initial. And a drawback by Rosie Galore on Gillyweed. Gillyweed decides to call off that jam. 3 points scored, however, by Rotterdam and 0 for Eindhoven. That brings the score to 192 points for Rotterdam and 59 points for Eindhoven. And now it's going to be Hermione Revenger versus Tenacious T. It's an empty penalty box, so all blockers are on track right now. We love to see it. Both jammers hitting that wall, but it's Tenacious T who quickly picks up lead. Hermione not far behind, also completing her initial pass. So let's see what Tenacious T is going to do with that information. She's going to get through the outside and calls it off. Did she pick up any points? We'll see. 1 point stolen, however, by Hermione Revenger, being really fast. We'll still need to see how many points Eindhoven has picked up, if any. 1 point. 1 point for Eindhoven, 1 point for Rotterdam. Whomping Willow now versus Rebecca von Gorgen. 4-on-4 on the blocker side. Rebecca really quick on those toe stops, just running. But it's Whomping Willow at the front. Getting out, picking up leads. Rebecca not far behind, however. So now it's the race. Whomping Willow's gonna hit the pack and decides to call it off. And that makes this a 0-0 jam. Sometimes it's better to call it off even if you haven't scored any points, as long as the other jammer will not score any points. And it's Gillyweed back on the jammer line against Lefty Lucy for Rockcity. And instantly a no pack was called. Quickly the blockers tried to reform on time. Both jammers stuck in a pack, but it's Lefty Lucy. Seems like Eindhoven really picking up more leads this half. It's exciting to see. Gilly now with star in hand makes it out. Lefty Lucy in the pack scoring points right now. And a blocker apiece in the penalty box for these teams. Both pivots. So for this next jam, the teams are not going to have a pivot at the start because they're both starting off in the penalty box. It's going to be 3-on-3. And we have Iron Mist taking the star again for Rotterdam against Tenacious T for Eindhoven. Both jammers hitting that pack. Iron Mist on that outside line picks up lead, but Tenacious T also breaking free. And now they're gonna race for it. Also, the pack is speeding up. Everybody's speeding up. It's fast derby right now. Tenacious T being really fast. Almost forcing Iron Mist to call it off. 1 point scored, however, by Iron Mist before that call off. Very good game awareness. And we have a beautiful empty penalty box again. 4-on-4 on the blocker side. And we have Rebecca van Gorgen against Whomping Willow. And the jammers hitting the pack. Rebecca kind of bouncing around. Whomping Willow going straight through the middle and picking up lead. Rebecca now with the cover off. And it looks like we have a star pass to Veer Pressure. Whomping Willow about to hit the back for points. Pushing through that middle with that strength. Calls it off. But not before picking up the 4 points for Eindhoven. Keeping Rotterdam scoreless this jam. Score is now 194 for Rotterdam and 67 for Eindhoven. Eindhoven really having a better time in this second half. Picking up lead and scoring points. We have 5 minutes left to go in this game, and it's Hermione Revenger against Lefty Lucy right now in this jam. Could hear a penalty call, and with that you see Hermione Revenger picking up lead. Lefty Lucy still in that pack, but and it looked like there was a star pass done. However, the star pass was not completed. So there's actually a penalty on the Rockcity jammer right now. And we're going to start off with a power start for Rotterdam. A blocker apiece in the penalty box for both teams. So it's going to be 3-on-3. And we have Wasabi taking the star for this jam. And jams on. Beautiful offense at the start, giving space for Wasabi to just burst through the middle and pick up leads. Wasabi now coming in for a scoring pass. Wanted to go around the outside, but was stopped by May Rampage. Now pushing at the front, want to beat, that's May Rampage again, but she has to let her go. 4 points picked up for Wasabi. Both jammers now on the track. And into the pack. Wasabi gets hit out on the inside and drawn back by DD Dominator. Meanwhile, Lefty Lucy pushing at the front against that Rotterdam tripod, holding steady. Now Wasabi at the back fighting, Lefty Lucy at the front fighting. 1 to beat, but it's Fear Pressure. 4 points picked up by Wasabi. Lefty Lucy finishes that initial, and Wasabi decides to call it off before Lefty Lucy can score any points. Now on the jammer line, we have 1-1 Iron Mist for Rotterdam and 4-2 Tenacious T for Eindhoven. It is a 4-2 pack advantage for Rotterdam right now. So let's see with 2 blockers on track what they're gonna do right now. All right, Iron Mist making use of that pack advantage, slipping out through the outside, picking up lead jammer. Tenacious T fighting at the back of the pack, taking off her cover. And Iron Mist just blasting through that pack, picking up 4 points and coming back for more. You have Tenacious T still at the back of the pack fighting. Rockcity blockers are being released from the penalty box. 4 more points for Iron Mist in this jam. And it looks like we have a star pass on a Rockcity side to May Rampage. Iron Mist going through that outside, picking up as many points as possible. That's 3 more, and calls it off. A total of 11 points in that jam for Rotterdam, 0 for Eindhoven. We have just a little less than 2 minutes left in this game. It really has been flying by. Right now we have Whomping Willow against Hermione Revenger on the jammer line. Hermione tries to take the inside but gets denied by the Rockcity wall. Whomping Willow picks up lead and now comes in for a scoring pass. And it looks like we have a power jam for Rockcity. This is just what they need to try and get some more points on that board. Whomping Willow really with that strength, just pushing everybody out of play. Bremer, last one to beat, and she does. 4 points picked up by Rockcity. And now you can see Rockcity doing some offense for their jammer since it's a power jam. Whomping Willow trying to get through that in, now cutting back out. Really with a lot of forward momentum, but right now the Rotterdam defense is solidifying. 2 more points picked up in that pass for Eindhoven. So 6 points in total for Eindhoven on that jam, bringing them to 73 points. And it's Fear Pressure up against Lefty Lucy. 4-3 pack advantage for Rotterdam, and a beautiful tiptoe on the inside. Fear Pressure picking up lead. Lefty Lucy still in that pack, fighting that tripod. Now on the outside, 1-2 beat and does so, completing her initial. 4 points picked up by Fear Pressure. And they decided that they want even more points, so they're gonna let this run in the pack, but gets shoved out quickly back in. 4 more points picked up by Rotterdam. Lefty Lucy now also in a scoring position right now, but also stuck behind that Rotterdam tripod. And Fear Pressure out for 4 more points. Lefty Lucy being recycled right now by Looslicht. And beautiful backward skating there on that outside line. 4 more points picked up. Lefty Lucy still in a pack, but a star pass. Beautiful, smooth star pass to May Rampage. Fear Pressure picking up 4 more points, decides to keep it going. And we have a distraction penalty called on Rockcity. Fear Pressure, using that confusion to just blast through, decides to keep the jam running. May Rampage is scoring points, but so is Fear Pressure. Just blasting through that last blocker. May Rampage taking a run up, really pushing against that tripod, but got hit out on the inside and recycled. And Fear Pressure decided that that's enough. And that's also the end of this game. We have the unofficial score right now is 249 for Rotterdam Roller Derby against 78 for Eindhoven Rockcity Rollers. And before this score becomes official, let's cheer one more time for these teams. Give it up for the Eindhoven Rockcity Rollers. And give it up for the Honeybees. And also cheer for yourself because you watched a lot of derby. Give it up for the audience. Yes. All right, before I stop talking, the score is official, but did you know that Fear Pressure scored 32 points in that last jam? Wow. All right, thank you all for coming and have a nice evening.